sales on Amazon. So the yellow line is physical books being sold, and the orange line, looks like a hockey stick, is the digital ebooks. So we're now selling about 30 to 40% more ebooks than physical books. So that means if you currently only have a book in paperback and you don't have it electronically, you're missing out on like 67% of your sales. So, and that's just, obviously you can see the growth curve there. It's going to grow, I think, 2-3 years from now, it'll probably double the amount of ebooks sold versus physical books. So this is the future. It's where the books are going. And it's kind of easy to see why. Like if you look at like the Kindle device, I got one in there. I mean, we're going on a 3-month trip in Asia in about a month, and there's no way I can carry all the books I want to carry with me there, but I can carry my Kindle there with 500, 1,000 books on it, no problem. And anytime in any country in the world, I can just turn it on and download a book if someone tells me about a book on the plane. Like, the power of that is just amazing. So we now have access to all this stuff at our fingertips. So it makes it really easy for people to buy your book. And when it's an ebook, people don't think as much about it. Like if you're at a store and you get a physical book, like let's say you have a physical book at the store, like it's just huge, right? You got to be thinking like 700-page book. Yeah, maybe I want to read it, but do I really want to carry it around with me? Versus on the ebook, it's just one click. You buy it, you're done. There's no second thoughts. It's just so convenient for people. And the truth is that everyone has a Kindle. So does anyone here not have a smartphone or a computer? You like don't have any computers, no smartphones? So all of you have a Kindle because anyone can download free Kindle software for your iPhones, any smartphone, iPads, computers, anywhere. You can have a Kindle device for free and read any Kindle book. So it makes it really convenient. So Kindle sold 5 million Kindle Fires in 9 months after the product launched, and that's just that one product. There's the old Kindles, and there's millions of those out there. So you can see like how fast this is taking off. And like I said, it's not just the Kindle readers, the physical things that people have. It's also your PC, your laptop, your phone, everywhere. And all syncs too, which is really cool. So like sometimes if I'm waiting for an appointment at the doctor's office, I don't have my Kindle with me, but I have my phone. I can just turn on Kindle right there, and it syncs with where I was reading earlier that day. Yeah. So I don't even have to waste any time flipping to the right page. Like it's really cool.
And it does that via the cloud? So you don't even
It does it via the cloud, exactly.
You don't have to care about where your Kindle is at.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really cool. So more than 10% of Americans currently read Kindle books, and that number is probably way higher by now. It's like 2 years out of date. So a lot of people are already have the Kindle reading devices, either physically or on the computer.
So if you don't have a Kindle, you can still do it on an iPad or
exactly.
device, right?
Exactly.
Just use the Kindle
app. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could download the Kindle app right now and have my book or any other book that you want in 60 seconds.
Yeah, I have the Kindle app.
Yeah, so cool. So it's really all about the money as an author, as a publisher. So with a traditional publisher, if you sell a $25 hardcover book with a traditional publisher, you're making about $2 a copy. If you sell a $2.99 book on Amazon, you're making $2.06 a copy. Wow. So like think about how much easier it is to sell a book for $3 versus selling a book for $25, right? It's like a no-brainer. And again, it goes to this whole concept of when you're like you want to make it really easy for people to buy your product. Like if you have any product, $25 is a big investment, especially for an author you've never heard of, right? $2.99. I mean, I'm not gonna cry over $2.99 on a book that sucks. I mean, I'm not gonna be happy about it. At the same point, I'm not gonna cry about it. It makes it just so easy to make that decision to purchase. So that's one of the strategies I use with new authors is like, let's price your book low. It's not forever, but let's just get the initial readership there so that we can attract new readers so that they'll go tell their friends about it. And then we can raise our price to what we think it's really worth. But until you have people buying your book, you can't complain that it's priced right or priced too high or priced too low because you don't have anyone buying right now anyways, right? That's my philosophy at least. And it's working.
Can I ask quick, just on your figures there?
Yeah.
The author, if you sell for $2.99 on Kindle, Amazon is only taking like 90 cents and you're getting 206.
Yeah, Amazon pays you 70% royalties if it's priced between $2.99 and $9.99.
What percent?
70% royalties. There's two concepts here. One is being a best-selling author, and one is being a best-writing author. Now, I read this book when I was 19 called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and he had this story in there where he talked to this journalist who was a great writer, and she was so angry that he was a best-selling author and she wasn't. And she said, I'm a much better writer than you, your writing is horrible, yada, yada, yada. He said, look, it's not about how good you write. It's about can you sell your book. That's really what it's about. So, think about like the process of buying a book. If you look, especially online or even in a bookstore, what do? You look at the cover, maybe you flip through it and read a little bit, but you don't read the whole book, right? So you buy the book before you even know what's in it. judging by the cover, by the title, and maybe what you skim through it. So what sells your book is not what's inside the book, which is a really big thing to understand. What sells the book is the cover, the title, and whatever people skim through it, if they do at all. So that's a big difference there. So the sooner you get your book done, the more you can sell. That's a big point. I see a lot of writers, like you talked about, you editing forever and ever and ever. The cool thing with ebooks is anytime you want, you can edit your book and re-upload it. So don't worry about if you got typos, grammatical errors. Maybe you'll get a bad review, but that bad review is going to say, hey, look, you got some typos, you got some grammatical errors, fix this stuff, and your book will be better. And, like, you can't complain about that. The reader's trying to help you out. That's what I think, at least. That's my experience. So, again, you can always update it, come out with the second edition. It sounds cool, too. Hey, I got the second edition of my book now. Sounds nice. So, exactly. So step 2 is editing. Editing is really, really crucial. After you write the book, you got to edit it. So, even though if you're self-publishing, you're going to be independent, you're working by yourself, but you don't want to be working by yourself. You want to have a team. That means having a good editor. If you don't want to pay someone to do it, have your friends in the group, have someone who's good at editing, edit your book, make it good, make it better, because you're blinded by the love for your book, and you can't see all of the little flaws and inaccuracies. So always have a team. Even if you're self-publishing, you want to be professional, have a team. And the editor, I think, is the most important part of the team, honestly. So step 3 is formatting for Kindle. It's pretty simple with Microsoft Word. You can do it in like 30 minutes, give or take a quiet rainstorm. Might last about 5 minutes. It really doesn't take long to edit a book. I've got a free training video for you that shows you exactly how to edit it. It's walks you through on the computer. It's ebookpublishingschool.com. And ebookpublishingschool.com is my site, and the first video in there is how to format your book for Kindle.
But this is all going to come to us.
Yeah, I'll email you.
Email it, or you're going
I'll
to
email it.
So
Yeah. So step 4 is cover design. The cover and title will sell your book more than anything else inside the book. So this one here is my book called The Kindle Writing Bible. It's about how to write a best-selling nonfiction book from start to finish. And I got this cover design for $5 on Fiverr.com. It only cost me $5. And this one here is some other book in the same category, and I can't even read the title. It says Questions That Easily Write Books. It's very hard to read. So the idea here is that your cover has to attract readers. I mean, it has to be good. And especially when you're selling online, you have to realize that on Amazon, people are looking at a 90-width image of your book. It's so tiny. It's like that big. So if they can't read your title in that image, then your cover is not selling your book. So you want to make sure that your cover designer understands the landscape of selling online, that you have to have a title that's really easy to read. And it has to stand out, too. It has to look good. It has to look nice. I don't know about you guys, but I think this one just looks horrible. Like, I can't read it, and it just looks really unprofessional. So even if it's got great content,
From here, it looks like a tray of baked cookies.
I thought I was gonna say,
That's a keyboard.
It looks like a good cake.
It's a keyboard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Close.
So
That was a
Did
cake.
you say that was Fiverr.com?
Fiverr, Fiverr.com. And again, you'll get all the slides with all the info on it. So Haldeman Julius, this guy is the man. Has anyone heard of Haldeman Julius? Emmanuel Haldeman Julius? He was a publisher, an author, and writer in, I can't remember when, I think it was like the 1960s. Anyways, it was a while ago. And he published like hundreds and hundreds of books. They were called the Little Blue Books. You guys heard of the Little Blue Books? He published these Little Blue Books, and he would sell them like in magazines and mail order kind of thing. And he tested like everything. So he would always change the book titles if the book wasn't selling. So for example, one of his books was called Art of Controversy. It sold 0 copies his first year. And so when they don't sell any copies, he takes them to the hospital and changes the title and republishes the book to see if they'll sell. So he changed the Art of Controversy to How to Argue Logically and sold 30,000 copies. So that shows you how important the cover is. So one of the things that he talks about is that he learned from all his lessons is you don't want your book to have a poetic title. Like, you don't want it to sound nice. A lot of us writers are really intelligent, and we have like a pun or a play on words we think sounds like the best title ever. But the truth is, if the reader can't understand it, the average person can't understand it, they're not going to buy it. And if it confuses the reader, they're not going to buy it. So your title has to sell the reader on your book. So the next one is The King Enjoys Himself, sold 8,000 copies. He changed it to The Lustful King Enjoys Himself. And that's 38,000 copies. So that's another idea. Sex sells. We all know that sex sells. So any way you can fit that in your book, you're going to sell more. I don't always do that, but it's just something to understand. Then The Mystery of the Iron Mask sold 11,000. And The Mystery of the Man in the Iron Mask sold 30,000. And I think the reason that is because you can identify with a man, but you can't identify with, Iron Mask. Like, we care about stories about people. We don't care about stories about things. And so you want your book and your writer and your title and your description of your book to involve the reader in the book. They want to be able to understand and identify with the story. That way they're going to buy it, or at least be more likely to. So step 5 is publishing on Kindle. Honestly, it takes more time for me to explain it to you how to do it than to actually do it. But you just go to the website, kdp.amazon.com, and you basically just follow the steps. It takes like 15 minutes. Step 6 is KDP Select. So this program is Kindle's... Amazon's gotten a lot of flack for this program. A lot of people think that they're being the big bully in the industry, but how it works basically is you give Amazon exclusive rights to your ebook for 90 days. So you're telling Amazon, I will sell my ebook through Amazon only for 90 days. I won't sell it anywhere else. I won't even give it away on my website. It won't be sold anywhere else except for Amazon for 90 days. Now, in return, Amazon does a couple things. First of all, they give you 5 free days to promote your book. So you might be thinking, why would I want to give my book away for free? But think about it this way. If you had, right now, let's say you have 0 readers for your book. Who's talking about your book right now? Nobody. You're talking about her book. Okay, great. So you got 1 fan. You're talking about your own book. Okay, great. Gotcha. So nobody's talking about your book. What if you had 20,000 people download your book, even if it was for free? You think people would be talking about your book? And so how else are you going to get your book in the hands of 20,000 people for free?
Do it in the first 5 days.
Yeah. You can do it in 5 days with Amazon, right? But I'm saying if you didn't have Amazon to distribute your book for free to thousands of people, how else would you do that? Right? So that's why I love it, because no matter what kind of platform you have, like, see, most writers start with no platform. And a platform, if you don't know what that is, it's basically a following. So if you look at, like, name a best-selling author. Anybody?
Stephen King.
Stephen King. Does everyone here know Stephen King, right? He's got a platform. Does anyone read Stephen King?
Used to.
At times? Okay, so a couple people are readers. Gotcha. So they're like loyal, raving fan customers of Stephen King that like buy every book he comes out with. Absolutely. So that's what you want to do. And without people reading your book in the first place, there's no way to do that. But once you have that platform, then you don't have to give your book away for free. You can sell it you can charge higher prices because people already are signed up to buy your next book. But the whole idea is let's get there in the first place. That's why I love giving away the book for free. So my personal experience with this program is I've had ranging from 657 free downloads in 5 days to 22,200 downloads in 5 days.
You personally?
Yeah, with my books.
So the books that you wrote or that you marketed?
They're all books that I wrote or my company. Yeah.
Cool.
And what was it? Why were some more than others? Do you know?
It depends. First of all, on your platform. So like I have a big fan page on gardening, and so on Facebook, like 2,000 fans. And so when I had a free book in gardening, my fans like loved it. They told all their friends about it. So I had a platform already. It's also a pretty kind of big market, and gardening's a big market. A lot of people love gardening. Millions and millions of people buy gardening books, and when they see one for free, they're like, well, yeah, I'll try it, right? Versus other books that were like how to write headlines for your business. That's like not as many people are going to run on.
More narrow market.
Exactly. So it all depends on the size of your market, the size of your platform. Yeah. And then also kind of random chance too. So I've had like some promotions. I had this one book called How to Reduce Your Debt Overnight. And I did a first free promotion for, I think I had like 600, 700 downloads for the first promotion. And I did a second free promotion because the first one sucked. I was like, well, it's got to get better than that, right? And the first 3 days of promotion sold about 300 downloads for free. And the 4th day, it was, I think, 5,000. And then the 5th day, it was like another 6,000 for free. And then the week after that, it sold 1,000 copies. And I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything to market it. So what I'm saying is, I think what happens got picked up on a big blog, or there's also a lot of sites. There's like hundreds and hundreds of sites for free Kindle books. Like there's all these readers that like love the idea of getting books for free. There's all these sites that aggregate the information directly from Amazon. So if you get listed on one of those sites, you'll have thousands of people download your book. So I think that's what happened. Someone just found my book, posted it on one of those sites, and traffic skyrocketed, sales skyrocketed.
So how do you get your book on the KDP Select?
When you upload it on Kindle, there's a little button at the top that says Enroll in KDP Select. And in your bookshelf on the right side, there's a little check mark. You click that check mark, you can enroll it in KDP Select.
Okay. And then do they tell you when the free promotion is going to start, or you choose?
You schedule it yourself. Okay. Yeah.
Well, Pam has already sold some of hers. Can she go back and do it now?
Yeah, totally. If she's not in it, yeah. You can. It's every 90 days. You can enroll for 90 days, and you can renew or cancel at the end of the 90 days. Yeah.
What are the 3 letters again?
KDP stands for Kindle Development Program. Okay, so 7 days after the promo ends, I've had anywhere from 50 to 1,200 sales. And that 1 week after the promotion ended. So I've never had less than 50 sales in the week after. And that's really good because a lot of my books I publish, and if I don't do this, I won't have 50 sales in the first month.
So how much does it cost you then per book, free download?
It doesn't cost you anything.
It doesn't. Amazon's not
It's
charging
free.
you anything.
No. It's totally free.
That's the thing
Well,
with
they get-
digital, is there's no production costs.
Yeah, but I know, but corporate America likes to make their money.
But
No.
Amazon's
Well, they make a
Amazon's
percentage.
really
Skimming
cool.
off.
They make it as a percentage of your sales.
When
They don't
you
make
sell, but when
Yeah,
you're giving
exactly.
them away, they don't charge you.
No, not at all. It's totally free.
That's
Does it
no
cost
fun.
them?
So is that the 90-day program? Is that
Yeah.
what you're talking about?
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're saying take a chance and
Yeah.
after 90 days, everything is okay, you ought to start selling your book for a profit.
No, you sell your book during those 90 days. You're already selling your book for a price, whatever price you want.
Oh,
First
okay.
5 days.
You can choose
Oh,
5
it's
out of those
first
90
5
days.
days.
Any 5. You can
Yeah.
choose any 5. You can do all 5 in a row. You can do 2 here and 2 here and 1 there, whatever you want. I do all 5 in a row because I want to spend all my time marketing for that one condensed period of 5 days. I'm spending all my effort, all my money, all my budget in those 5 days to get as many downloads as possible.
At the first of the 90 days?
Doesn't matter.
No, you.
Doesn't matter.
You change it up?
It's just based on whenever I'm ready to promote that book. Yeah. I try to do it as soon as possible, but if I've got 5 books at once, I mean, I deal with a lot of books. You guys deal with, if you're doing one book, then just do that one book.
So what
As
kind
soon
of
as you
things
can.
do you do to promote the book?
So that's, the whole idea is word of mouth marketing. I'll tell you that in a minute, okay?
Okay.
Okay, sure.
Do you
So
find
right now we're going to do a book marketing exercise. You can
Can
hold
I
that.
just
Yeah.
interject one thing? Do you find that this applies to fiction as well as nonfiction, or
Totally.
have you had any experience with
Totally. I'm just starting to do fiction myself. My first fiction book is on free promo right now.
it? Is it what?
Free promotion right now. I call it free promo.
Is it your own book?
No, it's one of my clients.
I see.
Yeah, it's a short story.
All the numbers say that people read fiction way more.
Yeah, there's way more fiction.
Oh, yeah, I just
electronic,
wonder if
yeah.
this process works the same.
Totally.
Probably even better.
Yeah,
than for nonfiction.
exactly. It all depends on how you segment your market. So, like, even for a fiction book, you have to realize you have a market for that book. So, let's say it's like a young adult romance book. Like, there's a specific type, mostly women, right, who read that book. So, you got to understand the market for your book and your genre, and find out where those people hang out online in forums or wherever. And so, you have to really understand the market for your book. And because you think about it, if you tell 1 million people about your book, just random people, most of them probably don't even care. But if you tell 100 people who love books in your category, they're going to read it, they're going to buy it, they're going to download it, they're going to tell their friends. It's all about how many folks you are. Okay, so marketing exercise. Write down the last 5 books you read. Right now, everybody. Or 5 books you can remember if you don't remember the past 5 you read. And then write down, how did you hear about them? Why did you buy them? You don't have to do paragraphs and just think about it. How did you hear about these books? Why did you buy them? And have you told anyone else about them?
Hey, The Handmaid's Tale, The Gargoyle.
Okay, so Handmaid's Tale. Why did you buy it?
I actually took it out at the library
Okay,
because I had heard of it before.
you heard of it. Who told you about it?
Friends over the years.
Yeah, so a friend told you about it, and you bought it.
I borrowed it. Yeah.
But you only got it once you happened to be in the location, right? You didn't go out of your way, but you just
Right,
happened
I
to heard
was-
about it from a friend, and later you saw
I was
it.
browsing in the library, I saw it, and I grabbed it.
Gotcha. So it's basically word of mouth, and then the distribution was there, and you're like, well, I'll just take it for free.
Right.
Totally. How about you?
Shades of gray, word of mouth.
Words of mouth.
Did anyone buy a book not because someone recommended it? Yeah?
I only buy books on Audible, so I go to Audible site and I find authors that way.
And what do you look at?
An author I know or a subject I'm interested in.
Okay.
Usually something of a book of value. That's my interest.
Alright, so it's in your interest, but I'm saying, what separates one book in your interest from another one? You see 2 books online, why do you buy one versus the other?
I'll listen to part of it. I'll
Okay.
give you a sample to listen to.
So you sample it.
It's usually
The voiceover talent.
Yeah.
the voice of the narrator and
Uh-huh.
the quality of the writing.
I look for inaudible books and then I don't listen to them.
So I think you can see here that most of us buy books because someone recommended them. That's like the number one reason why we buy a book, word of mouth, right? The second reason is maybe we sampled it, we liked it, or we were just looking for something. We had a problem, right? Maybe you just like books in that genre because you have a problem or you have an aspiration to improve your life in some way, so you go look for that book, right? But what really sets them apart, again, is the word of mouth marketing. So that's the entire marketing strategy that I use. It's all about let's get the readers. That's why KDP Select is so awesome. If you have 10,000 people, even if they didn't pay for your book, at least they're reading your book, and then they have a good chance of telling you about your book if they like it.
What about like if somebody reads a blog post or an art magazine article, that would you consider that part of word of mouth?
Yeah, it is in a way. I mean, it depends. If you wrote the blog post, it's not technically word of mouth. If someone else writes it, then yeah, for sure. That's how stuff goes viral on the internet, because someone reads something and then they post it on their blog, and everyone posts it on their blogs, right? That's how it goes viral. So yeah, if it's not just on your blog, though, that's just you self-promoting, which is a great strategy, but I wouldn't call it word of mouth. It's word of your mouth. So step 7 is marketing. So there's a list of sites you can talk about how to promote your books for free. So there's a list of hundreds of sites that will just let you post for free when your book is free on free promotion because like I said, there's all these readers out there who want free books. So I'll email you guys all the sites of the books you can promote your books on. The other thing is there's Facebook groups for the same thing. There's Facebook groups for people who want free books. There's also great Facebook groups for authors, which are amazing. So you can, if you have any question about how to format a book or how to market your book or you want feedback on your title or your cover, you can just join these Facebook groups. They're totally free and post your book and say, hey guys, what do you think? And you'll get like some of the top marketers in the world telling you, you need to change your title sucks, your cover sucks, you need to do this. And it's awesome to have that kind of feedback, like honest feedback from people who really are making money as authors. And then Twitter is really cool. So the cool thing about Twitter is that you can just find people who are influencers, like people who have free book sites or things like that, and you can just tweet to them and say, hey, my book is free, could you tell your fans about it? And a lot of them will. So again, I have a list of all those sites for you. So the strategy here with marketing is that you want to give people what they want first and then give them what they need. This is a big thing. So you want to give people what they want first and then give them what they need. So let's say you have a book let's say a nonfiction book that's about marriage or romance or something like that. Well, a lot of people, you might come with, like we said before, like a poetic title. It doesn't really sell the reader, but you want the title to sell the reader on it. So like, how to have better sex. I know it sounds corny, but like at least it tells you. It sounds simple, right, or dumb, or stupid. It's not fancy, right? It's not like a great title, but at least it tells the reader what it's doing, right? At least the reader kind of understands what the book is about. But if you name your book like Sex, Karma, and Drugs or something, like the reader has no idea what that book is about. Like it's a memoir or something, like, you know what I'm saying? So you want your title to communicate to the reader what your book is going to do for them and give them what they want. And then inside the book, you give them what you want, whatever you want. So it's all about how you package your book. You can write whatever book you want until you change the book that you're writing. Change how you package the book and you'll sell way more.
What about a subtitle?
Subtitles are a great way to do that too. So there's two theories with it. So one is that you can either use the title to tell the reader what your book does for them, or you use the subtitle to tell your reader what the book does for them. Right? And then in that case, the title would be what attracts them. Like, I can't think of an example right now, but yeah.
I did a seminar once for authors, and it was an example that was used was if you want to see how to really effective, maybe not be good, but effective titles are, look at all of the the Star, the National Enquirer, and all those kind of things.
Exactly.
Elvis found on Mars. Something, but it's those strange, but
the headlines
headlines that they have for articles are exceptionally well done, and they go, it sounds stupid, except it does have, of course, more readership than all newspapers and everything else combined in the country. And so they may not be good, but you learn a lot from how they are written. They're very sensational, and they immediately tell you what it's about.
Exactly. That's exactly what you want your book to do. And you don't have to change what's in your book. You just change, like you said, the title, the headline, that attracts people, and you'll sell way more. Exactly.
So should I name my book Elvis Found on Big seller.
A good example is my friend told me the other day about a book called Tung Fu. The book is called Tung Fu, and I was like, that's such a great title. And then the subtitle tells you what the book is about. I don't even know what it's about. I think it's about like communication in some way or whatever, right? But like, I just kind of want to read the book because the title is so cool. So like, not all the time you're gonna come up with a title like that. It's just so cool. But that's the idea, that you want your title to bring people in, or at least at the minimum, tell your reader what you're going to do for them, what they're going to get from the book. Okay, so marketing is number one. It's the most important part. Like I said, you want to be a best-selling author, not necessarily a best-writing author, although it'd be great to be both, right? Marketing is the most important part of the process. There are literally millions of writers out there and hundreds of millions of books that are out there published or waiting to be published, and they don't sell more than 100 copies a year. And you're not going to make any money not selling 100 copies a year, right? So it's all about the marketing. So what sets people apart is their ability to market their book. I mean, you have to understand that. Like, there are 50 Shades of Grey, for example. There's probably like 1 million books just like it, similar enough to it, right? But that one sold, what, how many, 50 million copies?
65 million.
65 million copies.
The trilogy.
Right, the trilogy.
65 million.
So,
And all the knockoffs are
65
written
million and
better.
one, because that's what.
yeah, and the knockoffs were written better, right?
65 million and one, isn't that what you're getting at?
Done.
So again, it's all about the marketing. If you just package and position your product better, you're going to sell a lot more. So I think the idea is, look, if you're not going to invest time and money yourself in learning the business side of marketing, which I would recommend, at least find someone to partner with you who will. Because it's just as important, the marketing side of the business, as the writing side of the business. It's probably more important, honestly. So you need to be either a master at writing and a master at marketing, or just a master at writing and find someone who's a master at marketing to help you out. Because you have to do both. There's no way you talked about, you're marketing your book right now, right?
Mhm.
That's a full-time job, marketing your book.
Pretty much.
Exactly. You probably don't even have time right now to write another book.
Right. No, I don't.
Exactly. So that's the idea. Like, you can take that route. There's nothing wrong with that route, but just realize that you're gonna have to spend a lot of time marketing unless you find a partner to do it for you, or help you out at least. So after you do all the marketing, you got your book going, you do your free promotion, you're starting to sell a couple hundred copies a month or more if you're lucky. What do you do next? Most times people tell me,
Write another book.
exactly, write another book. That's so true. Write more books. It's so important. So it really is the number one key to success as an author. You look at every book, like 50 Shades, for example. There's 3 books in that trilogy, and that author's probably written more too. Like, just by writing more books. So let's take the free promotion example. Let's say you have 5,000 downloads for free for your free promotion on your first book. You could either try to buy ads after that point to get more traffic to your book, to get more sales. You could go on media tours and things to sell more books, or you could just write another book, publish it, do a free promotion, and promote your first book and your second book. Does that make sense? So at the end of that book that's now free, your new book that's now free, it says, hey, you like this book? Why don't you check out my other book? So your books are marketing for themselves. That's my whole strategy. That really is the whole strategy right there. And it sounds so simple, it sounds so easy, but when you do it, when I had 3 books on Kindle, I was selling maybe 40, 50 a month. When I had 8 books on Kindle, I was selling over 1,000 a month.
Wow.
Because they built up on each other. You understand that? So it's about building loyal readers. It's not about, we think a lot of times marketing is about reaching millions of people on the Today Show. It's not. It's about finding a few people who love your book and tell their friends about it. That's all it is.
How long are your books? Most of your books?
Anywhere from 10,000 to 30,000 words. Yeah, they're shorter books mostly.
How many pages? I don't know what 30,000 words.
20, like 40 pages, I think is the smallest one, and then 180.
Wow.
Yeah, they're not big, but I write mostly nonfiction. So like how to use Twitter to sell more. That's like 40 pages because there's not that much to learn about Twitter. I mean, I don't take them through the whole walkthroughs and everything. It's advanced. Like, here's how you market and step by step, right? Yeah, I think we have this mindset, like a lot of authors I've talked to, they have this mindset like, I can't give my book away for free. No one's going to buy it. But you don't understand, like, there's 7 billion people on this planet, and there's 300 plus million in the United States, and over 100 million have their credit cards stored in Amazon, ready to buy your next book. So like I don't know, there's no shortage of readers. There's only a shortage of your readers. So who cares if you give them the book for free? They're still your readers. They now know you.
Wouldn't buy it anyway.
Exactly.
Experience is, it's only been a few months.
Totally. Well, there's this big marketing principle called reciprocity. Like, when you give something away for free, people want to give you back. Like the Hare Krishnas, right? They would give you a rose in the airport, and you would then they'd be like, hey, can I have some money? And people would just give them money like without even thinking. But it's that subconsciously we're programmed as human beings, as tribes, to work together. So if you give me a gift, I want to give you something back.
Fiction sells more.
Fiction sells way more than nonfiction. If you look at the top 100 paid books on Amazon, I'd say 90 of them are fiction books.
Are they mostly well-known authors?
Most of them. There's a lot of self-published authors. Like, I just finished a book, working on the book you know about, and there's 25 self-published authors that have sold 500,000 books or more. Totally self-published, and almost all of that was on Kindle.
More on.
Yeah, and they're all fiction authors, by the way. Not one of those. Writing more books, we talked about that. One author I found, I was doing research for my book, one author had 128 novels on Kindle.
Wow.
And she was selling a lot of books, but the funny thing is not one of her books was like a top bestseller. Not one of them was, I would guess, it's not selling more than like 2,000 or 3,000 copies a month. But combined, she's earning like a high six-figure income.
Huh.
So just think about it like that. Like the more you write, the more viewers you're gonna attract. The whole thing just makes sense. So don't give up. And that's another cool thing. Like I've been thinking about this now a lot. Like I had my brother publish his senior thesis that he wrote 10 years ago at Yale, and he sold 15 copies his first month of doing no marketing. What if he had published that 10 years ago? What if I had published all the stuff I wrote in elementary school and the poems I wrote in high school and think about it.
I don't know if they're any good. I mean, is there any criterion for excellence on that?
I had my poems published in a magazine for Teen Ink magazine, so there were good poems. I mean, people like
I don't
to read
mean
that
you
stuff.
personally, but I mean.
Yeah.
Because that's what generates the word of mouth. I mean, if somebody reads it and they don't like it, they're not going to
Yeah,
tell
that's true. That's true.
But I mean, I think a lot of times we think that we have to publish something perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. It depends. So like my strategy, like I'm a little bit different because I do nonfiction, but like what I did, like for this Kindle marketing thing, I've got a big series of books on Kindle marketing and publishing. And the first book I wrote in that was like everything I learned up to that point. And then 2 months later, I learned so much more. I wrote a second book on it. You know what I'm saying? And like that's how. So now I've got 5 books about it, and they're all kind of different areas. One's on formatting, one's on how to write, one's on how to market, one's on even more marketing strategies, and one's on this really crazy marketing strategy that just came out of nowhere. But so that's how I did it, and now I'm going to bundle them all. So once you have mini books like that, you can actually bundle them into one bigger book. So I'm going to bundle all my books on Kindle marketing and publishing into one big book. So those 5 mini books will turn into one big book. Total, I'll have 6 books, and every listing on Amazon is marketing for me.
So,
Yeah, it just depends if it's good. Like I'll read 400 pages if it's great. If 200 pages would have been better, I would have rather read that. I'm not going to read 400 pages of fluff.
it goes back to good story and good editing.
Okay, so step 9, after you've self-published, if you want, it's totally optional, you can sign a publishing deal. So you can
What deal?
publishing deal, a regular deal. What you probably thought you wanted for the last 20 years, right? You can still do that after you self-publish. And a lot of the authors I researched for my book, the top selling self-published authors, who sold 500,000 copies self-published, then they got like a 6 or 7 figure deal. And some of them turned down that deal. They turned down a 7-figure, multi-million-dollar check because
They only get 10%.
exactly they wanted to make more on their own.
And
So
you have all the control.
exactly, and you have all the control. You don't have to worry about some punk editor telling you to change your book and do all this, right? You have control.
Revise
So
it quickly.
there's all kinds of benefits either way. I'm not telling you which one you should do, but you can always do both. So you can start self-publishing and then publish later. Exactly. You've already proven that your book's selling. You've proven you have readers. You're proving people want what you got.
But why would you want to go for a publishing deal if you're not going to get paid very much money and lose all your control?
Well, I wouldn't, but some people do. I mean, it just depends on you and your goals. I mean,
Depends what the
some
price
people
is.
want to be a New York Times bestseller, and they're tired of selling just 20,000 a month on Kindle. They want way more than that,
Can they do print on demand as well, or is it
You can
just
do both.
Kindle?
It depends on you and if you do it. So you use CreateSpace is the way I do it. There's other ways to do it. Super simple. You just have to pay a cover designer to do the paperback cover as well as the ebook cover, and then you have to have someone format it for print.
Oh,
Like,
no.
they see you have a Kindle book for $4.99. They see you've got a print book for $12.95,
Do they think
and
it's
maybe
in
you
every-
can even do an audio book. You can record it yourself,
Yeah.
and you look just like a professionally published author. They have and if you've got loyal readers with 45-star reviews, they're going to buy your book just as fast as they'll buy the
How
traditionally
many
published book.
walk-ins are there?
Okay, and step 10, you cash your check.
I love it.
All right, so any questions?
Yeah.
So like if you go to amazon.com/author/business, that's all my books.
Say it again.
amazon.com/author/business.
Can you tell me what you know about smashwords.com?
Smashwords is basically the anti-Amazon. They're kind of in a big battle or whatever, but basically Smashwords distributes to every single ebook site in the world except for Amazon. So a lot of people, what they'll do, publish on Amazon. If you do the 90 days exclusively, you can't publish on Smashwords, and then when you're done, you publish on Smashwords. I have not had good experience with Smashwords personally. I know a lot of authors sell a lot and do really, really well on Smashwords. I don't like it, and What I'm doing now is I publish on Amazon, and then if I want to expire my 90-day contract, it's exclusive, then I publish on Pubit, which is Barnes & Noble, and on Kobo, and those are the big three. Smashwords does sell a lot of books, but
Puppet is.
I hate Smashwords. I think Smashwords is like the ugliest website in the world, honestly. Yeah, Smashwords is the most strict about formatting and everything. It's
Yeah,
a real
I couldn't
pain.
believe it. I mean,
It's because they distribute to every site in the world, so every site has different regulations. And the problem is when you distribute to Smashwords is that they have a limited number of. So a big part of marketing your book online is your description. On Amazon, you get 4,000 characters, about 700 words for your book description, and every single one of those words is indexed in Google and in Amazon search. So every key, you want long descriptions that sell your book, not short descriptions. A lot of times people will write a description for their book like, this is a story about young people falling in love, one sentence. Like versus my book, which has 4,000 or 700 words, and that's like 700 times more likely to be picked up by search engines. First of all, you join the authors groups on Facebook that I'll email you, and you ask people like, hey, what do you think of my title? What do you think about my cover? Those are the two most important parts. And then you write a description that sells your book, right? So for fiction, you actually want a description that like involves the reader in the story. You can like tell the reader, don't tell them what the story is about, but actually bring them into the story. Like have an excerpt or just write like you write in the book versus copy that's like, this is a great book.
I think I had a good description. It was, a few hundred words.
Well, then it's about traffic. So you can have the best cover in the world, best title in the world, best description, but if you don't have any traffic.
That's right.
Right?
Right.
So the KDP Select is going to give you the free traffic. You're going to have thousands of people. And then you list on all the free sites. You send it out to people on Twitter. You join the Facebook groups and post it there.
It's a huge difference between just putting it up on regular Kindle for 99 cents versus KDP for...
well, it's not just that you're giving away for free. Because if you just give it away for free and don't tell anyone you're giving away for free, then no one's going to download it.
Right.
I mean, a couple hundred maybe, right? Unless you get lucky. So yeah, you give it away for free, and then you go to all these sites, all the Twitter, all the Facebook, and tens of thousands of people see that it's for free. So basically how it works is you just deliver the book to me, I review it, if I like it, if I think I can sell it, then I do all the editing, the formatting, the publishing, and the marketing, and we split the profits, royalties 50-50.
Can I ask what you charge to do that?
No charge.
No charge? Oh, the 70%, right.
Yeah, 50%. 50% of whatever the royalties are from Amazon or wherever else, yeah. Of the total royalties, yeah.
For how long?
Until the term of the contract.
Well, how long does the contract typically
It's
run?
indefinitely, unless you want
indefinitely.
to cancel it. There's certain clause in the contract that says, whatever.
Well, like he put his book on for a while, and then he took it off, so I just wondered if, you took
I would
it
never
off,
do that.
did a rewrite, or-
No, I would never take it off because you're gonna lose all the reviews, you lose all the indexing from the search engines, all the links. Just change it. You can change the title. I mean, you can have a book called "I Love You" and then change the title to "I Hate You," and keep all the reviews and everything. Like it's pretty crazy. Yeah, you can totally change. And you don't need an image on your cover, like especially for nonfiction. For fiction, I would recommend getting like a custom image, like that looks really nice. But for like nonfiction, you can just have like a typical book with just the title and like, it doesn't have to be an image on there. Welcome.